It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey, everybody, this is the Tax Lady, and this is our hour to talk taxes and money. And we're, let's face it, we're thinking about building fires in the fireplace. What do you think? I mean, October, November, December, right? We want to get you ready, and we want to talk about things that are going to help you financially with your tax return in the center of it, because that kind of drives the whole engine. I'm joined in studio with Christopher Fabian. Hello, Christopher.
Hello, Esther.
And Tiffany Fabian. Hey, Tiff.
Hey there, Esther.
All right, so we're going to talk about taking advantage of present market conditions, right?
That's right.
Because it's the end of the year. We're going to talk about how to turn something that is on the table right now into something that's going to save you money. And again, if you've gotten letters from the IRS, you're getting audited, you find out that you've called the IRS 12 times and spent 18 hours on the phone and they keep hanging up on you, we want to help you. 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. And would love to have you join us in studio with your conversation, because everybody always says what those people say is a lot more interesting than you. So that's true. That is true. But we wanted to first talk about one of the first casualties for New York State of Health was Health Republic. Right, Chris? You want to give us an update on that?
Yep. They were the most reasonable. And the government
were just downright cheap.
They were too cheap, because actually the government came in and said, we're shutting you down because if you stay in business, you're going bankrupt, and then you're going to have all these people without insurance. So Health Republic, it cannot do health contracts for the upcoming year. So anybody who had a Health Republic and you had automatic renewal, and Tyler's just going, wait, that was me. Before you do renewal, you won't be able to. So you got to go to the shop, and you got to.
Right, and then you're looking at the other insurance companies that were already much higher than Health Republic, and many of them got a 14% bump on the premiums charged, right?
Yep. A lot of them 5 to 14%. The only one who asked for a price decrease, that was right now. That was Independent Health, but that was before Health Republic got shut down. So we don't know what's really going to happen to these prices, because open enrollment starts October 15th, but you really can't sign up to November 15th.
Right, unless you have a special condition.
Correct.
But here's the thing. You have to understand the penalty this year is 2% of your adjusted gross, your adjusted gross income. So if you don't have health insurance, you can have a 2% penalty this year. So you want to make sure you get health insurance. And many people that just say, well, I just can't afford it, many of those people just can't afford it, and they qualify for Medicaid. The old Medicaid rules are gone. So it has nothing to do with your assets. It has to do with your income. So you can actually own a home, have a pension, and have low income, and you'd still qualify for Medicaid.
That's right. And people are blown away with it, and yet they're still afraid because it's the Medicaid part of it, and they're like, I don't want Medicaid. That means
that stigma's gone.
Yep, that stigma's totally gone.
I mean, actually, I wish I had Medicaid. If I had Medicaid, I wouldn't have to worry about any co-pays, anything out of pocket. If you can get on Medicaid, that's the best. And I'll tell you, through New York State of Health, before you just say, I'm not going to listen to what Esther has to say, I don't want to hear what Chris says, I don't want to know what Tiffany says, I just can't afford health insurance, you would be surprised. How many people have we seen since last year who thought they weren't going to get insurance and they qualified for Medicaid and they just couldn't believe it?
Oh, a ton.
Lots. I will say, though, there's a lot of doctors out there that don't take Medicaid and Medicare, and so that's one little caveat. There's a lot.
So you have to work. You got to work a little harder to get your doctor, but
Right,
everything
right.
else is covered, right?
Right.
And if you need help, if you're somebody that doesn't have health insurance, or you're wondering how to get involved, or you don't want to pay the penalty, and by the way, there's this new catastrophic insurance, right? That gets you out of the penalty and is really cheap.
Right, it's $20. I believe it's $20 a month.
$20 a month. That's like 5 lattes. Not even 5 lattes.
Pretty good.
Yep, and it's for the people who just miss Medicaid, and so it's if you're like over by like $10,000, you'll be able to qualify for this new qualifying insurance.
And so the $20 a month, $240 a year, lets you get out of the 2% penalty.
Yep.
So that's really important. Now, and so people say, oh, but I want better insurance than that. Because there's no pre-existing condition, if you found out that you had a bad condition, you could switch to the more expensive insurance if you needed it, and there would be no penalty.
Yep.
Wow.
So it's kind of like planning, right?
Oh, it is. It's you gotta be smart, and that's what taxes are, is being smart with your money. I know I got a phone call today, and someone said, well, my husband got a huge stock option from work, and he got like $50,000, and we want to give to charity, so we bring down our taxes. I said, well, that's great, but you know what? That's stupid. And they're like, what? And I had to explain, like we do here on the radio, that once you can give, but at your bracket, you're going to save 25 cents on the dollar. So
that's right, and that's what people don't understand. They think, oh, I'm going to give them this $10,000 car, and I'll save $10,000 in taxes. Not really. If you're in the 10% bracket and you give a car to charity that once everything fleshes out is worth $10,000, you save $1,000. So you just lost $9,000. So you don't want to do something. Don't listen to your friends over the fence, because they are giving the worst tax tips. You can call EG Tax. We don't charge you for anything that we help you with.
Then I wanted to say, if people needed to sign up for health insurance, or if they needed that catastrophic health insurance, we have a navigator on board, and his name is Tim, and he'll do a great job, no charge, sign you up for the insurance.
So there's no charge. We want to help you. EG Tax is your advocate. If you've never been in a tax office, we don't bite you. We have coffee. We got the TV going. It's very warm and friendly. And it's not like we're saying, now, we helped you. Are you going to come back to us? We just want to help because we think that in the community, if somebody says, gee, I went to EG Tax and they're really nice people, that's the best. We believe in word of mouth is the best advertising.
Yep.
Correct.
So, all right. The other thing is, before we go to the phones, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. We also want to talk about a seminar next week. If you would like to meet yours truly, we're doing a free seminar at Bender's Christian Bookstore at 8550 Sheridan Drive at 10:30 in the morning. So we'll have coffee and everything, and we're going to talk about things to get ready for the fall, because in January it's too late, and we'd love to see you. All you have to do is show up at 10:30 at Bender's Christian Bookstore. We're being sponsored by Living Hope, which is Linda Penn. She is the host of today's Living Hope. She has a show on WDCX Radio and Bender's Christian Supply Store. So just come on out next Saturday at 10:30, and we'll get to talk personally. Very personal.
And it's right on the corner of Sheridan and Harris Hill for those who want to.
Right by that fat donut place, too, isn't it?
Olson's. Another fat bakery.
Another fat donut place,
Yes.
right. You can pick it up, and when you go into a Christian store, it's free, no calories.
There you
There you go.
It's the holiness.
It's the holiness stuff. So I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. Let's talk about tax school. We're going to take a break, and then we're going to talk to people on the phone that are calling in. Okay, Chris, how's our tax school coming, Tiff?
It's coming along great. We have some seats left. We have about there's 4 locations: Grand Island, Amherst, Lockport and West Seneca. And then even if you didn't want to do the classroom setting, you could do it online.
In your jammies.
In your jammies. It's a great opportunity. So you could do morning twice a week, or you could do evenings twice a week. And spots are filling up. And I can tell you, the sooner you sign up, we get a small concession in price the sooner you sign up, and so
and it's tax deductible.
Yep,
so
that's
because
right.
you're learning about taxes, it's tax deductible. It's in an adult setting, in a classroom setting with computers, and if you don't know computers, that's okay because we're going to teach you. We almost want you to not know because it's almost easier to not unlearn people.
I can tell you the night class Chris and I share, I teach half of it and he teaches half of it, and we have a really good time. And so if you want to come and we just have a good time. Stories are the best way to learn, and we tell you lots of stories.
Lots of tax
Yep.
stories. Okay, I'm Esther Galias, the tax lady, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. We'll get to your phone calls. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back in a minute.
My shadow runs with me underneath the big white sun. My shadow comes with me.
Oh, okay.
Red
You got me
Bones.
again. You got me again. I'm telling you, Tyler Samer has all these unusual bands he likes, like Soggy Feet, Airplane Throttles.
Wet Toast.
What's that one?
Airplane Throttles.
The Damp Tissues.
I knew it. Damn. Was that really the name of that band?
No, that's Eddie Vedder.
Eddie Better. Great. I'm Esther Galias, the tax lady.
He better what?
He better.
You guys better learn who he is and start listening to him.
I'm never going to listen to that. Anyway,
Okay.
I'm Esther Galias, the tax lady, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. Wanted to mention that our sponsors are, by the way, those sponsors that sponsor Ask the Tax Lady, they are great companies and great businesses if you're listening, Wentz Propane's great, Dennis Kitchen is great. I mean, Nationwide Insurance is remarkable. We're pretty good too. And
we're having a new sponsor starting soon, waiting for his commercial to get done.
So, I mean, those are great sponsors, and I have to tell you how appreciative we are of them. Okay, we've had Mark waiting a long time. Hey, Mr. Mark, how can we help you?
Hi, Esther.
Hey.
I'm calling because I had this horrible experience yesterday,
Oh.
and I thought I would. I'm about 99% sure it was a hoax, but I thought I'd run it by you anyhow.
Okay, I can almost tell you what happened, but you go first.
Okay. Well, I got a phone call. It was a recording, and the message was that the IRS is building a case against me, and I need to call this number immediately. Well, I didn't call the number because I just don't believe the IRS operates that way. But I thought it wouldn't hurt to call you and ask you about it anyhow.
It's absolutely a hoax. If you call the number, they really, I mean, this is almost like Hollywood on steroids. These people really sound legit, but the IRS does not operate that way. They send you letters. There's statutory limits that each letter represents, 90 days, 60 days, 30 days. That's how the IRS operates. They don't call you up, say that you have to call them right away. But if anybody has gotten that kind of a phone call and you call them up, they say, just a minute, agent, whoever will be right with you. It's just it just sounds like it's Hollywood, but it is not true. And if you wanted verification, you can call the Internal Revenue or the FBI, and they'll all verify that these are just scams. And I'm glad that you were smart enough to not buy into it, because we had a lady that did buy into it, right, Chris?
Yeah, she went out and bought like 5 gift cards and loaded them up with money, and then called them back and read them the numbers. So she gave them money, and there's nothing she could do after that. So
Isn't that a shame?
Yeah, and the IRS, they don't usually contact you via phone. They usually send you certified letters. If you're in a long-standing relationship, perhaps they'll call you. But
Right. I
usually
mean,
it's-
if you've been corresponding back and forth, if there was an ongoing audit and you have a specific agent that he might call and say, we have an appointment on Tuesday down here at the IRS, but they're never going to say to you, that we're building a case against you, that because they just make an appointment with you, but they start by a series of letters. So I'm glad that you were so smart, Mark, and thank you for calling.
Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on his cell phone. Love to hear what you have to say. This is a good fireplace day. Darn it, you got to take those snuggly clothes out and sweaters, and it feels like fall. And that's why we want to talk about taking advantage of whatever market conditions are present. Like, for instance, everybody's talking about interest rates going up. What rate are you paying on your present mortgage? If you're paying like more than 5 or 6%, you really need to think about refinancing. Do you know that if you drop your interest rate 2% on a $100,000 loan, you save over $48,000 in interest? And so and if you say, oh, I don't want to do that, it just seems like a bunch of it's going to be so much paperwork. You know, part of what we do is we help people to connect with the best possible people you can talk to in that market. But I mean, would you let somebody steal $48,000 from you?
Ain't no way.
If you're and remember, interest rates eventually are going to go up. I don't know when they're going to go up. They're saying this fall, but certainly take advantage of the reduction in mortgage rates. And the same thing is, because mortgage rates are low and this is a seller's market, you might want to sell your house and buy that next level up house at the reduced interest rate.
Right.
This is a great time to buy a house and sell a house.
Yeah.
You know, and
if
it's
you're
really,
looking even to downsize, your kids are going, away from college, and it's just you and your husband. You have a big house. Sell now and buy a littler one.
Because let's face it, right now with low interest rates, that means more people can afford to go into the mortgage market.
And I heard
which means that your house is worth more money.
That's right. And I heard yesterday the job report numbers came out, and they weren't favorable, or they were flat, and so that they said it's going to give them more cause to not raise the interest rates right now, and it also was an argument for them not have raising them
and
recently.
See, the whole thing is the door is still ajar,
right?
And you want to walk through that, not after they raised interest rates, but before.
That's right.
And so even if the two of you are sitting around getting ready to go to church, and you're driving in the car, you look at each other saying, we have been thinking about this. Do it.
I got to tell you, Esther, I was driving around my neighborhood yesterday, and I saw sold signs, sold, and I'm like, oh my God,
it's a seller's market.
Yeah,
it is a seller's market.
Nice to see.
And I'm going to tell you something. To be forearmed is to be forewarned, or something like that. There's something. Anyways, when you're smart, you take advantage of the situation. The other thing is home equity credit lines, home equity loans. Those are another way to pay off higher interest credit cards. Like, for instance, credit card. You might have a 25. I bet you there's people paying credit cards and they don't even know they're paying 25%.
Right.
Nope, because they probably just get the bill and write a check and don't even look at it.
And you know that you could do a home equity line for like 4%, so you drop 21% in interest.
That's
huge. If you don't, you just have to say to yourself, why don't I do this? And if you need counseling, you can call me. I'll get you all straightened out. We yell at you, but I mean.
But you yell with love.
I do, because I love you, and I hate to see you get.
I've seen you go online countless numbers of times and find the best interest rate for your clients. So I've just watched you do it.
And I charge nothing to do it. So because it's not that we just do taxes. We kind of look at the whole thing. When I'm doing an itemized return and I see somebody's paid $10,000 in interest, I say, what percentage is this rate?
That's right.
Stop, look at the internet, see what you can do, because sometimes it's just you're so busy. But are you really too busy to save that kind of money? Right?
Oh my God.
So, and then the other thing is, I think you guys paid off your student loans with the
that's
home
right.
equity,
Yep.
didn't you?
A couple years ago, when the interest rates went really low, we I didn't get a home equity. I refinanced the whole mortgage and took out some of the equity and paid off my student loans. And some of my student loans were 16%. Some were 9%, some were 6%. I paid off the higher interest rates, and then I just gotten a letter in the mail saying, congratulations, you paid off, because there were some of the lower ones I kept. So you want to be smart and make sure you pay off right away, usually the higher interest rates,
But
so-
it's like anything. You have to not turn off what we're saying.
Right.
You have to listen and say, gee, you know what? Maybe we should do this. Because it's just money.
yeah.
And when you have too
It
much
grows
lump
on
at
my
the end of the
tree.
money.
How much did we save too in our mortgage when we refinanced the first
to
time?
a 15-year? Oh my gosh, it was like $200,000.
$200,000, Esther. Yeah,
I know,
we
it's
switched to a
unbelievable.
15-year.
And then old home equity loans. Though, maybe you got an old home equity loan that's at 8%. Refinance it. Most, I know that the Pentagon Federal Credit Union doesn't charge anything to refinance from a home equity credit line. So it's cost you nothing, and you drop 3-4%. It's just unbelievable. The other thing is let's say you have a high percent car loan. Again, Pentagon Federal Credit Union, I'm not advertising for them. I just really happen to like this credit union. 1.99% on a 3-year used car loan. So if you're paying more on your car loan, refinance your car loan.
And let's face
reduce
it,
the payment.
Cars are not cheap, and so when you have a $35,000 car, that's a big difference to lower the interest rate. And
Right.
so you just want to take advantage of it.
All right, I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. I know we have some callers waiting. Want to talk about this before we break for news. Now's a great time to buy vacation property because that same home loan thing is in there. So if you've been thinking, winter's coming, you're putting on the sweaters, it's going to be cold, and you're going to say, gee, I wish I could go to Florida. It's a great time to buy that vacation home or rental property. All of these kind of situations, this is a great opportunity to make lemonade out of lemons. If you're going to borrow money, you may as well borrow it at the lowest rate because that's the important thing. But the other thing that you need to do is you need to make sure that your credit is the best it possibly can to get the lowest rate possible. And so one of the best ways to do that is to pull your credit report.
Yep.
And that free credit report is through creditkarma.com.
Yep, that's right.
And if you're not a computer person, you can come into EG Tax and we'll help you pull your credit report.
Yep. We'll do that. No charge. Imagine that.
There's no way to fix your credit until you look at what it is. It's just it's something you got to do.
And you can fix your credit. I will tell you, I've worked with many people who have gone through a bankruptcy and their credit was not good. In a period of time, they had 700 or 800 credit score, and they were able to get back into the credit industry after learning some lessons, and it's absolutely great. So we're going to take a short break for the news. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. See you after the news. You've never heard this song? Neither have I. Okay, what is that?
It almost
Okay.
could be a Blake Shelton. Sounds like a Blake Shelton song, but
The
it's
guitar,
not.
yes. It
That's
is Beck.
Blake Sheldon? I didn't
No,
know he
no,
had
it's
rap.
not. I'm just saying it sounds like the tone, everything, but it's
Okay.
Tyler singing in there too. So
All
who
right,
is
what
it?
is it, Tyler?
That is Beck with the song Loser.
Good.
I
good,
guess he
that's
just
great.
described us.
Or no. Maybe it was because that's what his song is. Loser. I'm Esther Gulius, the tax lady. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. We have Linda who's been holding. Hey, Linda, how can we help you?
Linda?
Hello, Linda. Earth to Linda.
Linda?
Linda.
3,
Two,
2.
1. Well, that's Linda.
Well,
Okay.
She was. It looked like she was talking about the IRS call too. So again, that's just fraud. They don't.
Okay, right.
Just call
Okay.
us. Don't call them back.
All right, well, getting back to our subject of the day about credit, when you pull your credit report, or if you're sitting down and you know that you're really underwater and you just don't know how to get out and you're charging your charge cards to pay this charge card, I know you're going to think that this is a terrible thing to talk about bankruptcy because you say, no, I never want to do that. Well, bankruptcy is actually protection so that the creditors can't come after you. And bankruptcy many times is an answer to bad credit. And I will tell you, there are many people that I've helped. I feel like Dennis Kitchen helped through bankruptcy. But I mean, sometimes it's just saying to yourself, you know what, I really need it. And you don't lose all your assets. There's substantial equity you can have in your home. There's different kinds of bankruptcy. There's the kind that gets rid of all the debt. There's another kind where you actually have like a period of time to pay it back. But sometimes bankruptcy is the best thing you can do for your credit and for your future, because until you get rid of that old debt, if you can't pay it off, it's just like a dead body that you're dragging behind you.
Yep. And the thing is, people are going, but my credit, if I file bankruptcy, my credit's going to be destroyed. Well, if you're at that point where you even thinking about filing bankruptcy, your credit probably already is destroyed.
That's
so
right.
this is the only way to help you to get
so
it better.
So the thing is, once the bankruptcy is done, then the creditors know that you did a bankruptcy, and in a period of time, you start to rebuild your credit. And one of my, actually, it was my sister, quite frankly. She had large medical bills because she had cancer. She owed hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars. And I used to say to her husband, you really need to do a bankruptcy. And he said, no, I never want to. So, 15 years later, they still couldn't pay it. It was impossible. He finally did the bankruptcy. Within 2 years, they had a new car, a new boat, and they were driving around a car with no windows. I mean, this is how bad it was. A new car, a new boat, and a lovely house, because they finally just said, you know what, we just can't do this. And they were able to reestablish their credit, and it's a wonderful thing. They're just like everybody else, So bankruptcy isn't something you want to aspire to, but if you cannot get out of debt on your own in a reasonably short period of time, think about it. And again, Dennis Kitchen, who's one of our sponsors, is absolutely a great guy to give a call to.
Definitely.
And he will help you. Okay? So let's go back to our phones. We got Tony on line 2. Hey, Tony, how can we help you?
You know that you can't get through on 803-0930.
Why?
No.
Call that number.
Tyler, 803-0930, still not working?
That's still our number.
But he said it's not working.
Yeah, we've been having some trouble with the phones. Verizon's been working to resolve it, and we've been down to 1 or 2 phone lines today.
So that's why you're not getting the calls. But my question to you, Chris, is you spoke about this catastrophic health insurance being offered. Who's offering catastrophic health insurance?
Well, it's through the government is coming up with the plan. I don't know which carrier.
Wait a minute. The government is sponsoring catastrophic health insurance. When did this start?
No. They're coming up with the plan. There will be a health insurance company or companies that will actually be doing it.
Well, that's why I'm questioning it, because I checked with somebody about Google. They couldn't find this in action.
Yep. Well, our navigator, Tim, at our office, had a seminar through New York State, Tony, New York State seminar for all navigators, and they came out and said that there is going to be a new catastrophic insurance for people, and it's $20 a month, and they have income limits, and now it's getting to the point where they have to have the insurance carriers come out and say, yes, we're going to take the gamble, we're going to offer this insurance at $20 a month.
That's part of the reason why, Tony, this is part of the reason why Ask the Tax Lady is an important program to listen to, because we let you know before everybody else does.
Well, I appreciate that, but this is the reason I'm calling to ask about that question, because you know that currently the Veterans Administration is going to be losing $1.5 billion in its budget for 2016 if they ever pass it. And as a result, some of the specialty clinics that I go to may shut down back here in Buffalo at Bailey Avenue. And as a result, I'd like to purchase this $20 a month plan to cover me, because I have quite a few medical problems that they're not going to treat.
Tony, how old are you, Tony?
I'm 68.
You wouldn't qualify.
You have to go for You have to do Medicare.
No, I do not have to take Medicare.
No. You have to do Medicare because you're over the age of 65.
The exchange won't let you on because you're not old. You're just older.
You're over the age that would qualify for this insurance.
Well, wait a minute. What age are you qualifying for this insurance?
Under 65.
You have to be under 65.
Right.
Okay. Well, let me ask you a question. How is it anyone in the insurance business going to allow you to pay altogether $240 a year for health insurance?
Well, remember,
Under 65?
Tony, it's catastrophic insurance. In other words, you got hit by a train, and you got stuck into the hospital, and that's what it's going to cover, catastrophic, some kind of catastrophic insurance. But more than anything, it's only going to be a partial insurance, and it's really meant for people who are lower income, under age 65, to get them out of the 2% penalty.
Okay, but do the people under 65 have to have an insurance, be insured with, let's say, the different plans that the Affordable Care Act cover?
Yes,
No,
there's-
this is going to be an insurance
On top
in
of
the
something
Affordable
else.
Care Act.
Doesn't
This
it
is
have to be on top of something
No,
else?
no, you can.
No.
This catastrophic insurance qualifies to pass the test
Right,
to have adequate insurance.
right, right.
Well, that's awful nice. $240 people
Right,
are gonna
and I
pay
got to
all
tell
this.
you, if you're really if you're somebody that's a planner, and you say, well, let's face it, I'm 27 years old, I'm off my parents' insurance, $20 a month I can do, and as long as you're skipping through life, there's no problems, and you know that in the event that you get hit by a helicopter falling from the air, your catastrophic is covered. If anything ever does happen where you find out you have a bad diagnosis, you can always switch to the more expensive plan. I think it's a way to get people out from the 2% penalty.
Yep.
Right. But does
Okay.
this cover regular doctor visits?
No,
at
no,
regular
no,
mammograms?
no, it's catastrophic.
Just catastrophic.
Right, right.
So then you have to get in an accident or have the earth fall through a hole
Bad
in the
stuff
earth
has
or
to happen.
something.
Right, bad stuff. Right.
Okay, well, thank you very much for
Thanks,
explaining
Tony.
it. Thanks, Chris, and hi, Tiffany. I always love to talk to you.
I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. I'm sorry if 8030930 doesn't work. I have no control over that. I don't have the phone company working for me. Tiffany just skipped out because she's going to a concert in Toronto.
She's going to see
with
T
Gracie.
Swizzle, Taylor Swift.
So Tiffany just left to pick up the kids to go to Taylor Swift in Toronto. So it's just me and Chris pulling
Partying.
double duty here. Yeah, partying. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on his cell phone. We got Joe from Buffalo on the phone. Hey, Joe, how you doing?
Hi, Esther.
Hi.
I was listening to the, like chock full of information, fabulous stuff. You helped my friend get insurance, as you stated. You were very helpful. That Tim was very helpful. But you touched on a whole bunch of things like refinancing and mortgaging and stuff, taking advantage of the rates when it applies to you. But I had a recent experience this summer where for months I dealt with a bank. I won't mention a bank, but I have multiple commercial properties with rental streams, and when I made application, it was just so complicated. They wanted leases that stated, before I even agreed to a rate or anything like that, they wanted leases that stated that they would be the first payee in case something happened. It was like ridiculous stuff. And then the guy registered my mortgage without even telling me what the rate was. He registered the mortgage for close to 5%, and it was like going to penalize me if I didn't go forward. I was just wondering, did I do something wrong?
I have to tell you, if you have a problem and you think that your bank, is this a reputable bank?
Well,
I mean, I don't need to know who. In other words, is this a larger financial
one
institution?
of our larger local banks.
Okay. So did you talk to the supervisor?
Multiple times. Basically, they went for 2 or 3 weeks. Hey, because I didn't go forward, it was $500 to get out of the deal when they didn't even tell me what the rate was, right, or the terms. And then finally I said, look, I talked to a few friends I had in the banking business. They said that really that was wrong what they did. They just said, look, if you want it to go away, it'll go away, and it did. But what I'm saying is the way, and I'm not saying this in a negative sense to you, but you're making it sound so simple.
Oh, no. I have to tell you, under Dodd-Frank and after the 2008 almost banking crash, there is a lot more paperwork, and under Dodd-Frank that has to be done. I'm not saying that there isn't paperwork involved. There is paperwork, and you may as well just bite the bullet and understand that there's going to be paperwork involved. One of them is 3 years tax returns, and if you're our client, we have them right away for you. And they do ask for a lot of minutia, but is it worth it to save $200,000? Yes. I mean, in my opinion, it is. So,
well, I'll leave you with this. I would say yes, only don't get the cart before the horse. If you tell a banker, I mean, I'm a professional person. I've been in business my whole life. I'm not Donald Trump. I'm just saying to you that if you tell a banker, these are the particulars. Here's my credit score. Here's my debt. Here's my all these properties that are paid for. Here's the particulars of what I have. What's it look like? So you're trying to tell me, like, if you're going to a doctor, you're saying, look, these are my vitals. What does it look like, Doc?
But it isn't, Joe. When the bank is giving you money, okay, and after this thing in 2008, they look at you a lot more closely. Now, because you have all the investment property, your situation on a refi is definitely a lot more difficult than somebody else's. I mean, because of all your rentals, yours is a much more difficult. But the bottom line is, if you can drop from 8 to 5, no matter how much baloney that they throw at you, if you can do it, then it's in your best interest, and that's the tip. But I will tell you, most people don't have multiple multiple rental properties, and it's much more easy for them. However, it's not easy.
Esther,
but it's worth it, and that's it. And I really appreciate your phone call, Joe.
I wasn't going from a higher rate. Properties are paid for in full.
Oh, so you wanted a cash out?
Yeah, no, I didn't.
See,
I bought a lot from the city that I wanted to pave. I just wanted to take some money to pave a lot.
That's still called a cash out, and that even makes it worse because then they wonder why you're taking cash out. It is not easy.
To pave the lot.
It's not easy, but it's worth it.
I just wanted to say, I only wanted to call because exactly what you said. I wasted 3 months with these people.
Yeah. So did you finally do the refi?
I did not. No, I'm using my own cash flow to do it, but what it did is it hindered me during the good weather. If I knew that ahead of time, I would.
You could have done it.
Right.
Exactly.
Right. Well, again, what you want to do, in my opinion, if you do want cash out, what you want to do is get all your ducks in a row so that you got your portfolio ready and you know what they're going to ask. It makes it easier. There are, if one of the banks was one of the old time banks in Buffalo, they are really sticklers. It's like, because they are very, very tough to deal with. But for instance, I can think of, I had a bank that I dealt with on a house, a purchase that I did. I had 24-hour approval, so I sent my stuff. They gave me the loan in 24 hours. So different strokes for different folks. The bottom line is, if you can, it's good. All right. Thanks for the call. I'm Esther Goulias, the tax lady, 803-0930, 803-0930. We're going to take our last break. We'll be back on the other side.
Okay, now that's for my wife and my daughter.
Yes. That's where Tiffany's going tonight.
That's where Tiffany's going. Taylor Swift.
To see Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift. I didn't say the other word.
You said shift.
I did say Taylor Swift, but it's Taylor Swift.
That's her cousin, I believe.
I'm Esther Goulias, the tax lady. 803-0930, 803-0930. Okay, want to talk about other things here besides Taylor. Another thing, making lemonade out of lemons. If you're a business owner, right now, I don't know if you're aware of it. I wanted to make sure that everybody knows too before. Tim called us and said that $20 catastrophic insurance does cover preventative checkups at no charge.
Yep.
Right, Chris?
That's right. That's right. So your yearly checkup is free. Your mammograms are free. They want people in good health. They don't want people sitting out there for
And for
10
$20, I mean, for $240, I mean, 4 lattes, maybe 3 lattes, you know?
Yep.
I mean, it's remarkable. So, again, if you don't know how to get it, EG Tax will help you. But let's talk about making lemonade out of lemons. Business owners, you got to make sure that you get your new credit card machines, right?
Yep. They now have the credit cards with the chips. Most of them have them. You see, it's like the little.
Not chips like nacho chips. I mean, chips. You got the little thing you got to slide in your car and hold it, because starting in January, if you don't have a card with a chip, then it means that you're at risk for if there's any if your card
if you're the
stolen.
merchant, if you're the person taking the credit card, the merchant is responsible for fraudulent charges.
Right,
with the
small business.
Yes.
I'm talking about. Right. So you want to make sure you get the new credit card machines. The other thing is, again, using the fact that credit is less expensive. If you have mortgages on your business, if you have credit card purchases, again, good time to refinance. We just refinanced something the other day through M&T Bank. We had an overdraft, and we just refinanced that. Got a great rate. They asked for 2 years tax returns. Look at purchasing rather than renting. Maybe your business has been renting space and the rental rate's going up. Take a look at purchasing, because with the low interest rates, you might be able to buy that building as opposed to renting it. Again, year-end tax planning. That is so essential, especially if you're a sole proprietor, because you have to pay not only the income tax but the FICA on the net profits. So you want to make sure that if you can create some expenses that are ordinary and necessary to reduce your tax liability, this is a good time. You only got 3 months to do it. And of course, we help you at no charge. Health insurance. If you're a middle-sized employer, 50 or more employees, if you don't have health insurance, you're going to pay a penalty of $2,000 per full-time equivalent employee. So that's on the drawing board. And if you're somebody that thinks you're going to help your employees by helping them get insurance, and you're giving them a little extra cash on the side, tell them about that penalty, Chris.
Oh my God, that's $100 a day penalty per employee. So you're looking $36,500 per employee per year. So if you have 10 employees, you just got yourself a $5,000 penalty.
Right,
so
by helping them to get health insurance. So it's got to be a qualified plan through the employer. Otherwise, do not give them money to buy insurance on the side, because it's a potential gigantic penalty. The other thing is you want to make sure that you get your pension plans in place. Many times employers just don't know how to do it, and EG Tax will help you that. We got one more quick caller before the end of the show. We have Chris from Buffalo. Hey, Chris, how can we help you?
Hi, thank you for taking the call. I am someone who, at a young age, suffered a catastrophic brain injury, and I am Social Security disability.
Right.
I make $21,000 a year now, and I have a $900 a month cell tower that I lease to Verizon, and with my income, I had Health Republic, which failed, and I pay for my own insurance until I'm eligible for
Medicaid.
Medicare. Thank you. And so I am trying to determine if I should sell the cell tower. I currently have offers of $160,000. It would pay to term, $450,000, but I'll never live that long, and I have no family.
Okay, well, this is a we want to make sure we give you the best advice. And I think, since I only have 2 minutes left in the show, I certainly don't want to lead you incorrectly. Are you able to ambulate, Chris, or are you housebound?
Yeah, I am able to walk and talk, and yeah, I am.
because what the least we would say is, why don't you call the office? We'll ask you questions, because it comes down to how much. Because certainly at the 21,000, that's the 21,000 is your SSD.
Yes, correct.
All right. So at the 21,000, if you don't have the $900 in rental income, you should be able to go on Medicaid. So what you'd have to do is figure out how much the selling of the cell tower, which would be an asset, but they don't care about assets. It's the rental income that would be the problem. How much, which would be better for you? So our phone number is 632-7886. Or you can go to egtax.com, call us, and we'll show you the pros and cons, and we'll help you with sorting that all out, okay?
Thank you so much.
All right, Chris. You take care of yourself.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax. Don't forget, we have that special seminar next Saturday morning at 10:30 at Bender's on Sheridan Drive. Everybody's invited. Love to have you. We're going to have something fattening there, too, and we'll give you lots of good information. Until next Saturday, I'm Esther Gullius with Christopher Fabian, Tiffany Fabian. Have a great week and stay warm. Bye-bye.
WBEN